The North Atlantic Treaty Organization, NATO, is a military and political alliance established in 1949. NATO's primary goal has been to ensure the security and freedom of its member countries through collective defense. Born out of the geopolitical tensions of the Cold War, NATO's origins lie in the Western desire to counter the influence of the Soviet Union and to deter any potential aggression from the Eastern Bloc. Origins and formation of NATO. The foundation of NATO was set against the backdrop of the post-World War II era. With Europe devastated by war and facing economic challenges, many Western European nations were vulnerable. The United States, seeing the need to prevent the spread of Soviet influence, took a more active role in European security. This objective was in line with the Truman Doctrine, which emphasized the U.S. commitment to counter Soviet expansionism worldwide. By 1947, countries like Britain and France were expressing concerns about their security, recognizing the threat posed by the Soviet Union. On April 4, 1949, 12 nations, the United States, Canada, the United Kingdom, France, Italy, Belgium, the Netherlands, Luxembourg, Norway, Denmark, Iceland, and Portugal, signed the North Atlantic Treaty in Washington, D.C. The treaty aimed to create a collective defense alliance that would stand as a deterrent to potential aggression from the Soviet Union. Article 5 of the treaty was particularly significant, stating that an attack against one member would be considered an attack against all, binding members to respond in defense of each other. This mutual defense commitment marked a defining principle of NATO. NATO in the Cold War. Throughout the Cold War, NATO served as a counterbalance to the Warsaw Pact, the Soviet-led alliance formed in 1955. As a defensive alliance, NATO focused on protecting its member states through deterrence and collective defense. The organization's approach included the stationing of troops in Europe, joint military exercises, and the development of a nuclear strategy to deter Soviet aggression. During this period, NATO's leadership faced various challenges, such as balancing the interests of member states and navigating differing levels of commitment to the alliance. In 1952, Greece and Turkey joined NATO, broadening its strategic scope. Later, in 1955, the Federal Republic of Germany, West Germany, was also admitted, a move that provoked the Soviet Union to formalize the Warsaw Pact in response. NATO's approach to defense evolved in the 1960s and 1970s, as member countries adopted the strategy of flexible response, allowing for a range of military responses, including nuclear options if necessary. The changing role of NATO post-Cold War. With the collapse of the Soviet Union in 1991 and the end of the Cold War, NATO faced a profound shift in its purpose. The organization had been created to counter a specific threat, and the dissolution of the Soviet Union raised questions about NATO's relevance. However, NATO adapted by redefining its goals to address the new security landscape in Europe and beyond. NATO expanded its focus to include crisis management, peacekeeping, and conflict prevention. In the 1990s, NATO engaged in peacekeeping operations in the Balkans during the Yugoslav Wars, playing a significant role in stabilizing Bosnia and Kosovo. The alliance's military intervention in 1999, known as Operation Allied Force, aimed to halt human rights abuses in Kosovo. These actions marked NATO's transformation from a purely defensive alliance into an organization capable of addressing complex security challenges beyond its borders. During this period, NATO also began to expand its membership eastward, welcoming former Warsaw Pact members and former Soviet states into the alliance. This expansion was controversial, as Russia viewed NATO's eastward growth as a threat to its influence in the region. Between 1999 and 2004, NATO admitted several new members, including Poland, Hungary, and the Czech Republic, followed by 7 additional countries in 2004, including the Baltic states of Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania. NATO in the 21st century, adapting to global challenges. Following the September 11, 2001, terrorist attacks on the United States, NATO invoked Article 5 for the first and only time in its history. In response, NATO members launched a collective effort to support the US in its campaign against terrorism. This led to NATO's involvement in Afghanistan through the International Security Assistance Force, ISAF, a mission aimed at stabilizing the country and combating the Taliban and other insurgent groups. The Afghanistan mission marked NATO's first major engagement outside Europe and was a significant step in the alliance's evolution toward addressing global security threats. In recent years, NATO has continued to face various challenges, such as cybersecurity threats, counter-terrorism, and hybrid warfare. The alliance has also focused on responding to Russian aggression, particularly after Russia's annexation of Crimea in 2014 and its involvement in the Ukraine conflict. In response, NATO has increased its presence in Eastern Europe, with rotational troop deployments and the establishment of multinational battle groups in countries like Poland and the Baltic states. NATO has further adapted to modern threats by creating specialized units and initiatives focused on cybersecurity, disinformation, and rapid response. The alliance has also deepened its partnerships with non-member countries and other international organizations, such as the European Union, to strengthen its collective security framework. NATO today and its future. As of 2023, NATO has expanded to 31 member countries, with Finland joining in 2023 and Sweden expected to join soon, further strengthening the alliance in Northern Europe. NATO's enlargement reflects its continued importance as a collective security organization, particularly amid renewed concerns about European security due to Russia's aggressive policies. However, NATO also faces internal debates over burden sharing and the balance of power within the alliance. The United States, as the largest military contributor, has periodically urged other members to increase their defense spending to meet NATO's 2% GDP target. Additionally, NATO must navigate differing priorities among its members, particularly as security challenges continue to shift from traditional military threats to non-traditional domains like cybersecurity, space, and economic warfare. Today, NATO remains a cornerstone of transatlantic security, embodying a commitment to collective defense and cooperative security. Although its role and scope have changed significantly since 1949, NATO's adaptability has ensured its continued relevance in a complex and evolving global landscape. The alliance's future will likely depend on its ability to balance the diverse interests of its members and respond to the multidimensional security challenges of the 21st century.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe our channel.